It's the name of the game. When the man comes to town.
Because you're quite a shouty little cunt, aren't you?
I'm not a shouty little
You're a little shouty little scrub boy. No. Sounds like a Christopher Nolan trailer.
This fall comes an epic like never seen before.
A ship inside a ship that's in a different dimension. Starring
Outside your house at the same time.
but also inside your house. Bam,
And
bam.
your brain.
Michael Caine stars in Inside Outside Your Own House.
Christian Bale, like you've never seen him before, because it's not him, it's actually Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer is bald as well.
It's Christian Bale and
Armie
Shia
Hammer
LaBeouf.
and Michael Caine. Michael Caine's his dad. Boys Gone Wild. Episode 50! Episode 50, take one. We're going to start by
You might as well mark it.
celebrating. Okay.
Okay.
Ah!
Oh my god. Jesus fuck, man. Warn me before that. Crikey. Yeah, there's genuinely spooked me. Crikey, I need to settle down. Oh god, okay. Right, let's do this.
Hello, and welcome back to what I thought was going to be not a special episode, because it was, the plan wasn't screaming masterpiece, it wasn't screaming vintage ep, but those normally are the most vintage. But then I realised just when I was announcing what episode it was, this is episode 50. This is a huge milestone. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes.
But I swear podcasts, like professional podcasts, when they reach that milestone, it's always quite a big deal, and they like to
50. Yeah, but I think it's kind of rare to see a famous podcast on episode 50. They're usually pretty high up.
But I swear. I
don't watch many podcasts.
No, because if you're like a famous person already doing a podcast, and it's like, wow, I've made it to 50 episodes. I swear that's like a big.
Yeah.
But they normally do something to like
commemorate
it. Yeah. So
well, we didn't realise until about 10 seconds ago.
So are we going to make this a special episode?
Yeah, we'll make it by talking about all the things we'd already planned to talk about, regardless of whether we knew it was 50 or not.
Cool. So do you want to do?
But at the end of every topic, it was 50. Woo!
Do you want to do a retrospective on
all the things
on
we've
your
learned?
time at Boys Gone Wild?
It's certainly been a journey. It's been a wild ride. We've gone through a lot together, both personally and geopolitically. It's not been the most normal time to start a podcast, but hey, we soldiered on like the brave soldier boys we are.
It's a very normal time to start a podcast.
Oh yeah.
We got some new reviews in.
We could do a clip show instead. We don't have to do anything today.
Oh, that'd be great. Just all the clips we've made thus
Best
far.
and God, remember that time for in episode 12?
We should do best and worst moments.
And
so we should
remember
do like
when Horatio had that clanger in episode 16.
Yeah. We've got this podcast is the funniest one out there. I laugh out loud. This is by I'm Crow.
Where's this from?
Podcast review. I laugh out loud every week.
Where's podcast review?
No, it's on Apple Podcasts.
Okay, I thought there was a website solely dedicated to podcast review.
Probably is.
Yeah,
I laugh out loud every week.
Okay,
we're a weekly show, so that's good.
Yeah,
and replay parts
more than that would be odd,
that will listen.
And nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's the only way she can laugh?
No, because she says and replay parts to anyone that will listen, so she's not laughing.
Oh.
When she's replaying it, it doesn't have re-listen value clearly.
Right. Yes.
The week wouldn't be the same without it. By definition. I'm writing this because Horatio told us to.
Good.
I know. Am I writing this because Horatio? Open question. Yes.
Is the answer.
But the point still stands. So that was an emotional roller coaster reading that. I was like, oh my god, yeah.
It was hard to know. Was that all one comment?
That was all one comment.
Oh, I thought there was like 10 different people. I thought we were doing better than we were.
It's a very schizophrenic comment. Genuinely so funny. What jokers by.
Different comment.
By Beth, but B has 4 B's, 3 E's, 4 T's, and 8 H's. So it's like, Beth!
Yep. Makes it a more...
That sounds like a cross between our fans and BB's fans.
Why,
BB's fans are called
Beth.
Yeah, BB's fans are called Beth, and then our fans would extend the name. So that sounds like the hybrid.
Yeah. It's a normal girl's name, but with an insane twist. Yeah, something's got to be wrong with something's got to be wrong with him in some way.
Deeply wrong. This is the chili episode. This is the chili special, the winter chili special.
Blinking
Getting
cold.
into it is blinking cold. That's why we're both wearing hoodies. I'm not a hoodie man. You're quite a hoodie guy.
I'm a hoodie boy.
This was bought for me as a gift, but it's not me at all. I'm wearing a big luminous green hoodie.
Well, it's Odd Future as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's
Which is no, it's not really you. But in a way, you've almost got you can have a bit of a similar style to Tyler, the creator, in some ways. But he just pulls it off in a way that you'll never be able to pull off.
because he's a gay black man.
Well, he's not gay necessarily.
He is gay.
Well, he
He's
might be
gay.
bi. You know, he potentially came out in Garden Shed, that thing, didn't
Yeah,
he? But
he
he's
makes
not, it's not
music.
confirmed.
He's gay,
and it's not important.
He makes music. He sings and plays the piano. He's fucking gay.
Actually, he does play the piano, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so straight. La 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 la. No, mate, you're gay.
Yeah.
But yes, sorry. We need to remember we also have a big lesbian fan base now, which came out during that episode when we talked about lesbians. We realised. What's the pun?
Came out.
Gay people come out. A very traumatizing and important moment in a lot of their lives, but nice to
cathartic,
use it. Nice to use it.
Come out in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure Simon KG, bet you're gay. Ellis, time for you to come out.
Yeah.
Those are the only two fans that we really know.
That we really know or have.
who we regularly talk about.
But please.
Yeah, how's your day been, man?
It's been great, Horatio. One of the reasons it's been great is I am from a very large family.
Irish.
That's
which
why
is it's not a good to stereotype. I know that genuinely Irish people get quite offended when they get stereotyped, but you
I embrace it because I'm
you
not
embrace
Irish
it.
enough.
You're not Irish enough, so it doesn't
There's only
offend
half
you.
of
So you say like when you're drinking, you justify it by going, "I'm Irish."
blood, yeah.
You've got loads of
Well,
cousins.
because
You're like
there's
they're
also-
Irish. They bleed like rabbits.
But there is also a reality to it. I mean, I being half Irish and never, having never lived in Ireland, I am basing most of my knowledge of Irish people off my family.
Yeah.
And when it's the idea of breed a lot, drink a lot, have kind of addictive tendencies, hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
us.
And also keep your feelings like
Yeah, tight in.
tight in. Keep your
Couple of
cards
pub
close to you.
brawls, fall out with each other all the time.
Yeah.
But
Because I've got an Italian family, so we are
Yeah.
like we've split. They're like the big immigrant groups
Yeah.
in Western countries. It seems so. The ones
Yes.
seem to-
Yeah.
It's Irish, Italian.
yeah, there's
you know,
pubs, there's Irish
yeah.
pubs everywhere, and there's Italians on waggling their finger on a corner somewhere.
Offensive,
everywhere.
but go ahead.
Offensive, but true.
It's very true.
Fake news
Yeah.
is what we're spreading. But so there's a substantial amount of them. I've got my dad has Steve Michael Mary has got
Steve Michael Mayer.
Steve Michael Mary and Patricia William Bernadette Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah.
And my dad is one of 8.
Yeah.
Which means I have 22 cousins, I think. And there was a group chat that is incredibly sporadically used.
With all of them.
Not all of them, but
It's
a good
impossible
amount.
to-
Most of the
yeah,
aunties and
yeah,
uncles
yeah.
and cousins.
Yeah.
But I think the good point of the Facebook group chat was to get people's numbers for the WhatsApp group chat, and I never put my number in there, so I'm not actually on the WhatsApp group chat.
That's a shame.
Because I'm the youngest
Yeah,
out
you're a bit
of
of a
the
black
22
sheep of the
cousins.
family.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of 22 cousins, I'm the youngest. I've always been the youngest in everything I do.
That is
Which
wild.
is reminding me, actually, I just want to bring up for the last podcast, there was
Your
I'd
A-level
made
results.
a joke. My A-level results. I did very well. I was successful in them. A-star AA. Okay.
And he was the youngest. He
So
was the
come at
youngest.
me.
He was the youngest in his entire family.
Because there was one of our teachers said that he believed that people from the lower, like people born late in the year, should have their grades bumped up a bit because they were basically not developed enough in their brain.
Oh, so it genuinely was about your results.
No, it wasn't. It could have been. I've got a real chip on my shoulder though.
Still youngest, still killed it. Whatever. Come at me. Andrew Cohen, A-level. That's why they put in the A in Andrew. Star, bitch.
That'd be great if that was like the chip on your shoulder as
Yeah.
a rapper, and
Yeah.
you kept bringing up the youngest. Youngest in my family. Started the
I'm
year
the youngest
early.
in my family. It don't matter though because I still got the A-star.
A level, bitch. But what I was actually going to bring up is last week I made a couple of jokes about how I'd be cancelled being through messaging underage girls.
Yeah, bold, very bold.
And then I remembered the fact that I have never slept with anyone younger than me. Every single woman I've slept with has been older than me.
It's true.
So just come at me, trolls.
Yeah, exactly. But it was the confidence in which you said that spoke of someone who's like, this is their only.
Yeah, but
this is your only,
I
portal
put
into
in-
show business. It became clear when you stood very openly said, "Yeah, I'll probably be cancelled for messaging underage girls," and just moved.
Well, because it's a joke.
Yeah.
And also The underage was to add a bit of drama to the joke. In general, it would have been something to do with messaging a woman or a female online and something go wrong through that.
Yes. But you actually remarkably stay very close,
above the age line.
very, very close to your age gap.
But older. I've never been with a woman younger than me.
That is interesting.
I think maybe one. I always say this to try and make it a bit better. I think one was younger than me, but who's counting that one?
Not me. I'm not racking that one up.
Anyway, so then. On this group chat, well, first of all, I started work at 6 a.m. this morning and I got a Facebook message, which was rare given how early it is. And it was from my uncle Michael, who I have probably never spoken to in reality, let alone Facebook.
Yes, sure.
And it was oh God, this you in video? And I was like, no, Michael, it's not me in this video. But then so I just kind of put it to one side, whatever. It's quite amusing for the first, then seeing no message history, and then for the first message from your uncle to be that. And then 5 minutes later, it's then my other uncle, Steve. So it's Michael Kerr and Steve Kerr, and it's, this you in video?
It's the same video.
It's exactly the same video.
Well, maybe it is you then.
Maybe it is.
If you've never spoken to these uncles,
shit.
That could be how they communicate.
Yeah. Oh God,
is this you in video?
In video? Click now, find out. You must.
If you haven't had them spoke, they might not have great English.
They were like, in translation, Andrew, what the fuck is? Are you okay? This is
what
just
video would
online.
it be that would not be a scam that they would actually
it would be
sell?
something I've done. Like, would I be cancelled for?
Yeah, maybe
something's
they're trying
leaked. Something's already leaked. It took 1 week, but so then I got another ping, and it was on the group chat, and both Michael and Steve had the messages gone through on the group chat, and then the rest of the morning was me receiving different messages from different Kerwins, all of them direct blood relatives. None of them like
they're your genetics.
They're all kind of estranged,
yeah.
But they're all like
they are
my
actually
cousins.
very close to you, biologically.
Yeah. So it's Steve Kerwin, Michael Kerwin, Mary Kerwin,
they all look
Patricia
a bit like
Kerwin.
you.
They've all got the droopy eyes. And so I think I got about 10 throughout that, and just seeing different ones, because you wouldn't just get the private message, you'd also see it pop up on the group chat.
Any group chat it was in, yeah.
And it was just that group chat, and then eventually it took one of my auntie, I think she's my auntie.
The matriarch.
No, not the matriarch.
Okay.
I don't know anything about her.
It's strange that no one likes her.
I don't
Drunk,
know.
Smells.
I think drunk.
Short.
Stocky. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can though, so I'm gonna keep punting in the dark.
I think she's one of the do-gooders of the family.
Okay, one of those tedious ones.
Yeah.
You know,
because I was having
kills cats who come into a garden. We know your game.
Yeah, you know where you get your kicks from. That's to push down other people's fun, but then still kills cats in her own time.
Complex though, three-dimensional. Three-dimensional. She's not like a. She's not a
drone.
She's not a drone. There's layers to a character. Interesting to write a film about. Horrendous to hang out with.
I couldn't put it better myself. For this auntie, I don't know. I started that saying I know nothing about her.
Anyone really
I feel like we all know her now.
Yeah.
So she put a stop to it. She was like,
what's up with the guy?
she was like, guys, you've been scammed, so you need to change your passwords, your usernames, and it's probably best to contact your bank. And I went, gay. You're a loser. Because I was enjoying the time as well. It was because it was a great thing to just get the
just
for like
constantly.
10 times in the morning, because it's it was very
What's
early.
great about those internet scams is that those are the ones that are more, if you click on them, they just hack you and you send it to everyone. So
it's phishing is what it's called.
Okay.
So it's like when they'll send out a virus, they'll reel you in, and then you click on it, and then basically it gives the virus access to your information, and then it can get your information and kind of almost thieve your identity.
Yeah. Not as fun as phishing sounds. Phishing sounds quite.
It's
like
spelled for PH as well. Like
really?
How you spell fat if you were from the ghetto.
Phishing is like PH fishing.
Oh, that's some fishing, fam. Piff fishing.
No, but if you're going fishing with the boys, it would be like ghetto fishing. Surely.
Yeah.
It'd be
How would that play out?
Well, you'd have two. Is it offensive to say you'd have two Uzis? like submachine guns.
You tell us in the comments. If
Yeah,
it's offensive.
submachine guns, and then you're on a little
And you
boat.
just shoot the fish.
You got your cap on sideways, and you
Just shooting fish, massacring fish in the lake.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so similar to
It's
that.
annoying because whenever you do those kind of things, it's less comfortable territory for us. So about 50 different jokes flew through my head, different
All
accents
of them
that would have been a lot of
cancelled,
fun, loads of
and
characters.
50 different scenarios of what would happen to us.
It's like, oh,
50 different
you're
ways.
on. I had a field day.
Yeah.
You're Irish on.
Yeah.
Fine. I could just easy. But ghetto fishing.
Yeah.
Don't.
Oh yeah, well that's because we've got even though it's a fairly minor. I mean, half Irish. There's still a stake enough.
There's enough.
I feel absolutely. It's my one minority
Yeah.
in inverted commas that I feel comfortable taking the piss out of.
Yeah.
Because I also bear some of the stereotypes from that minority. Therefore, it's also like taking the piss out of myself.
Yeah, exactly. So whereas me, none of that. So,
Yeah,
but you can give me the
you don't
pass.
shout Italian, do you? There's nothing.
I do shout, which
In the
is one of
street.
which is one of
Italian!
my but one of my most Italian stereotypes is my loud voice and my gesturing
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
Those are the things that have come through most aggressively in the genomes. So yeah, no, I'd see. Annoyingly, it's one of those things which is like I'd love to be at a more. I'd love the world to be in a better place because we could have got 10 minutes out of ghetto fishing. you
Yeah,
know?
true.
I'd have loved to just be in a place because already I'm just thinking about the idea of a gangster with 2 Uzis shooting fishes in the sea
Yeah.
in a boat, and it's
And there's a lot
hilarious.
of different
But alas, we're not going to go down that route because you guys can't understand irony. So that's another one knocked off for you. But scamming, it is fun because you have to have fucked up.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Do you do it?
No, it's fun to receive it because whoever's received it has been sent the same message
Yeah.
you have and has fallen for it. It's a big egg in your face moment.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
because-
it's like having a post-it note saying "kick me on the back." It's
Yeah.
like the same sort of thing.
Yeah. No,
so
it
it's a
is.
lot of fun when you see one of them because it's like
Because especially there's times in a group chat where someone has not messaged in for ages and they've kind of dropped off. You've accepted you're not really friends with them anymore, as just happened in one of our group chats. And then the first time they posted in like 3 years is this you in video?
which did happen.
No, mate, it's not.
Was it the same scam from our friend as it was in your family?
They're
similar.
all. So there is a new trend in scams because
Yeah.
it used to be so obvious. But
scam
what scammers
culture.
do now is because I remember the first time I received that, and what it does is when you read that message before you know it's obviously a scam. You kind of read the message and it plays on your insecurities because you think of all the bad things you've done in life
Yeah.
that could have potentially been captured on
Is
video.
this your big nose in video? I know.
How do they know? You did this with Frog?
See,
I haven't done anything with a frog.
That's what targeted because they're all the same, and it's just why it's so
Yeah.
baffling that people fall for them. Because is this you in video is so unspecific. You just have to be so ready to click
Yeah.
on anything.
You did
sexy.
this in toilets?
Oh, what? I did do something in a
Yes,
toilet.
this is true.
But surely, if they use the technology that they use for sponsored ads, they can tailor your scam.
Yeah.
If they can data hack into your
Yeah.
things, and then is this you with Frog? And
Yeah.
you're like,
Oh my god, it must be. But yeah, because the broadness of it and the vagueness of it plays on your insecurities. Did you do this? Is this you in a video? And you instantly want to check out the video because you panic.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh my god, I'm going to be one of those stories on the internet that is the blows
Man
up
with
and
frog
rivers
in
up.
park.
Man, frog park scandal. Disgusting boy from Mile End does things with frogs unimaginable. Podcast host
Fucks underage
brags about sex addiction on air. Fucks frogs privately. No one could know how far he went. But your natural, so it preys on those natural reactions. But then obviously you have one. You kind of look at it for about 5 seconds, and you realize immediately it's a scam. And then once they keep doing the same thing, so that's the trend now, the video one. But we've already cottoned onto it. Scammers have to be quick on it.
Yeah, because I don't have as big a family as you, but my similar thing
Loser.
is okay. All right, I'm quite insecure about it. I have this one uncle who I don't really speak to, but he
Why?
he's a bit weird very boomery on Facebook, so
Yeah.
he doesn't realise that he doesn't know what the difference between like and share is.
Great.
So every video he likes, he shares.
Yeah.
So he's just got stuff that's like in general that you would like, and he's
Yeah.
kind of like, old weird video, like people fighting outside of McDonald's, share, no comment,
good.
you know, stuff like that. Like
Must-see.
biggest shark in Australia.
Hey, those are interesting shit, and anyone should share them at all.
But
I've seen that one.
I don't think he
Pretty crazy.
realizes that
You can like something without showing the rest of your family.
he just shares. And he always falls for the scam every single time. So if you look at my message history with him, it goes back about 8 years.
Yeah.
And there's about 10 messages, and they're all scams.
Yeah, good.
They're all the same, like, is this you in video? And he does it all the time. And it's just a great fun, because occasionally I'll get it and it'll be like, oh, that's great, he sent me in. And it's just it's like a nice thing to like, oh, he's still falling for it. Still.
Well,
now.
it's always a way to keep in touch with your distant relatives. Like, oh, good, he's still alive. Still falling for scams.
Who would have thought that when the social media happened, we're finally an interconnected world. Think about how hard it was back in like the Victorian ages to connect with your family who are overseas, who are in a different world to you. Who would have thought that now we're connected, it would end up that the way you do it is like uncles you have nothing in common with sending you pictures of, is this you in video?
Their identity's being stolen.
I mean, it would be funny. It would be funny in the Victorian age if there was still that stuff happening, but it was like handwritten letters. Is this you in painting?
Come quick! Have you seen this letter we received? It says they've caught us in a compromising place at the blacksmiths today.
I mean, there probably was.
happened.
I thought it was going to be more of a surreal jump, and when you did it, you drew it so richly. I was there.
I've done history. I understand the past.
You're a scholar
more than any of you.
But so just to finish with my uncle thing. He does send those videos, but what's happened a couple of times is that he also. So he likes and shares, but sometimes he means to share, sometimes he doesn't. He also shares videos to me without saying anything that he thinks I'll like, that are always like weirdly graphic, like sort of funny.
Graphic? Bodily,
so not often like, it's just like weird stuff, like world star hip hop kind of stuff, which is kind of like weird. Yeah. So it's like people are fighting, but then like a tit might fall out. One of those ones.
Titty slip.
Like a,
a nipple blooper.
And so it's funny because he sends those, and those I all thought they were a scam.
A boob goo.
Until he sent like a question mark after one of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, sorry.
Do you reckon?
I thought this was another one
that
of the...
was for every video he'd ever sent.
Because this is what
years.
This is what I realized.
That one day he was like, well, are you gonna reply to any of these or not? Seriously, I've been sending you these videos for years and you're just gonna fucking leave them? That's what that question mark was.
Yeah.
What did you reply?
I just said, oh, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
there's no other replies.
There's no other ones. But it also implied that maybe it hadn't been a scam, that it was all genuinely him sending them seriously. But what were you saying? Or were you going on you were talking about Victorian scams, I think.
Oh no, I think I did the
whole blacksmith. Finish that all off?
Yeah. No, because I think there's because it goes into how middle age or moving towards elderly people use Facebook as well, and it's so I've noticed with my mum. She's the support of the podcast and does share sporadically.
Hot.
She recently got a dog, mostly because her kids moved out. You know how it is. Yeah. And then I found that now 90% of the content that she shares is missing dogs. And if you take a slightly deeper dive into these, most of the missing dogs aren't even in her county.
Really?
Yeah. So if you look, there was a couple from Birmingham. And it's like, I presume they haven't wandered from Birmingham to Brighton. But it's because it's like this false idea.
She doesn't really have many
raising awareness
to Birmingham, really.
Oh no, none.
None. Okay.
Absolutely none.
Yeah. She doesn't have any people on the ground there.
No, she's not. She's not well informed there. It's kind of one of her blind spots actually. She's working on it though. But I think it's this kind of impulse of. Because if you look at any middle-aged person's Facebook profile, they'll have their angle. It's also like mums will be sharing pictures of missing dogs and sharing emotional meme type things about how she loves her family. Your uncle might be sharing videos of fights and tits.
It's not, which is unlike his character. I don't know him well enough.
It doesn't necessarily have to be the character. Mum doesn't sit around at the dinner table going, "Have you heard about this missing dog?"
I know your mum, and it's not like a jump that she might. She's caring, she's emotional. In that
Choose your words carefully, punk.
But then my uncle, I've barely said a word to him, but I can't imagine him looking at like. Do
you not think he'd be one of those uncles who lean over on Christmas dinner and show you just a picture of just like a tit? Because God bless his soul, I love him to pieces. But my sister's boyfriend, the first time I ever met him, And obviously he's there. He's trying to impress the family, etc. And he had a very specific way of trying to impress me.
Yeah.
And we were all my mum, stepdad, Melissa, I think my stepbrother we were all around the table. There was a nice conversation going, which I was in this conversation kind of going. And while I'm listening to someone else's reply, I just get a nudge from him. First time I've ever met him. Get a nudge from him. And he just leans over and shows you this picture. So I'm trying to maintain the conversation, but then eventually just give up. And I look, and it's like a picture of a cat or something. But it's clearly like a collage. And then it's of tiny, tiny pictures. And then he zooms in, and all the tiny pictures are tits.
So bold.
Yeah, and I was there like half trying to talk to my mum whilst also trying to react to this stranger in my house who just showed me this picture and be like, lol, and then trying to continue the conversation.
Oh my God.
And it was it was pretty jarring because at that point.
That's so jarring.
And it's not.
Yeah, but he took a leap of faith. It didn't work.
He's not this guy. Because he's a fucking great guy, very funny guy.
Yeah.
Love him. Great.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, we get it.
I like him.
Yeah, we get it.
But I think he panics in that first meeting, be like, I've got to impress a brother. He looks like a bit of a geezer. Or you see this cat tit picture. I bet you have, you dirty little cunt. And then the rest is history. But in a way, it worked. Because it was an admiration for the brazenness of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I also have a deep romance for
cat tips
taking a big leap of faith and it failing. That's
Yeah.
like, to me, that's the foundation of anything truly candidly
And comedic,
funny.
yeah.
Anything that's not meant to be funny that is truly funny is
Yeah.
someone who takes a big risk.
Yeah.
Because they can pay off in a big way.
Yeah.
Like if you were a big cat tip guy,
Yeah.
that could have like laid the foundations like
Absolutely.
like light speed.
Oh, you a
Like-
cat tit boy too?
yeah, that would have done it. But that was such a big risk, and it didn't come off.
No.
But I just love.
Well, it did in a way.
I love those moments where
Yeah.
It's all about life's all about making those decisions, and sometimes you've got to
Do you
just
jump
go.
or do you not?
But a similar
But
story.
because it did kind of pay off because I did admire him for the boldness.
Yeah, I guess so.
Even though the content, there was the form rather than the content.
No, but you can say that now because he stopped showing.
True.
you
If he did that frequently, I would advise my sister to ditch that stank ass hoe.
Yeah. A similar thing happened to me is my ex was like sort of vaguely involved with the Russian oligarchs.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And so when I met some members of her more distant family, it was fascinating going to like a meal in London with all of these Russians, incredibly wealthy Russians.
Were you going out for a meal, like at a
out
restaurant?
out for a meal,
Yeah.
all of them together,
Like a very
everything
posh restaurant, just set
yeah,
the scene.
posh but Russian.
Yeah.
Russian is a different type of posh. It's a sort of rich Russian men. They have their own. They're just a very interesting vibe. It's like those sort of Moncler puffer jackets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Sort of practical
Are they
wear.
gilet wearing?
They wear
people?
gilets.
Okay.
They wear practical wear in some ways, which has got like the dad fashion aspect to it. Comfortable, practical. But then it's also so clearly like creatures have died to make it.
Yes.
It's like it has that. It has that non-practical element, which is like a lot of shit had to happen for this to get made.
So whether
this is dad wear because that's practical.
And because you can see from Dad where a lot of the time they brought it from Fat Face.
Yeah, brought it from Fat Face. The Russians
gone into the mountains
they've
to
shot
kill
the killet that made the fleece. That is warm, but they did, it's still got some blood on
animals,
it. So sitting there, one of them goes, "You also comedian?" And I go, "Oh yeah, no, I am, yeah." And he goes, you like the jokes? And I'm like, yeah, no, big.
As in, do you like jokes?
Yeah. And I was like, big fan. He's like, look at this internet meme. And he hands it to me like this. And he's like a 45-year-old dude. I have no idea.
Yeah, what the relation
I
is.
didn't actually look him up. I'm sure there's
There'll be some
he has
scandals.
a ridiculous amount of power in a post-Soviet state.
There'll be scandals
He's done
around
some
it
fucking
here,
mad shit.
yeah.
It's like, look at this. And it was, you know those memes with like that old-timey boxer?
Yeah.
And it's like meant to say, it's meant to be like a
I
man.
don't know the name of that
Yeah,
guy.
but it's like one of those, like it was like that sort of type style of meme.
He's
where
got a
it was
moustache.
Like,
He's a famous guy.
Yeah. It was either that or Chuck Norris, the same sort of joke thing. And it has top text, bottom text in that really old school meme sort of way. And it said, period blood, That was the top
Yep.
line, and I was
Great start. Already into
it. Having seen that picture, reading that top line, what's the bottom line going to do that would actually make me laugh? It would have to be something wild to flip the levels of irony.
Especially as you're seeing that picture, which is a very dated one for memes. You know it's not going to go fantastic. It's not going to really stretch your understanding.
And it said more like sex ketchup.
Oh my God, Jesus.
And I was like, okay.
Okay, yeah. Because when you get really deep into the joke of what that actually means, that's this. Because who would laugh at? The point is, it doesn't matter when a girl's on a period because it actually aids. It's like lubricant. That's the joke.
It's quite feminist if you think
It
about
is.
it.
That's it. Exactly. It's like, yeah, fair play. But I think what
I
the
can
probably
imagine
joke
Jamila
is.
Jamil sharing that on her Instagram.
More like sex ketchup, okay?
Can we stop calling it period
Period
blood?
blood.
It's sex ketchup. Period? Oh, yeah. Sex ketchup, thank you.
Normalise it, okay?
Normalise it. It's
just
ketchup.
like catsup.
It's
all right?
ketchup. I eat it with chips. It's normal. Normalise period blood.
To be fair, we should actually normalise.
We should
period
normalise
blood.
period blood.
Yeah.
It is. I think start calling it sex ketchup. Normalise that in the conversation.
Yeah, because if you're instead of being on your period, you could be on your ketchup. That's
On
the
your
word.
ketchup. I mean,
your-
I saw
your-
the light leave your eyes as you realised.
Well, my eyebrows slowly getting higher on my face.
Yeah,
Right, so I've got nothing, man. I've got nothing.
that's a dead end.
But yeah, no, it's a good thing. But it's probably not the feminist view of it. Maybe with this man, I think it might be more like you'll fuck women whenever you want. Oh.
I think it's more a Russian sense of humour. It's interesting. Russians can be very funny. In general, I don't find Russians super funny. They like humour though.
Oh yeah, you know all of Russia, do you? You fucking
No,
you're
I know
an
most of
ignorant
it. I know
son
most
of
of
a
it.
bitch.
I went to Moscow for 3 days and then St. Petersburg. So
You saw the Kremlin, didn't you?
I saw the Kremlin.
The creme de la creme of comedy. Let it sit. Shh, let it sit. Okay, you can talk.
But no, Russians have a very brutal sense of humour, and sometimes it's very funny. But it's like they often make jokes, but the jokes are so focused on the brutality that it's like sometimes brutal jokes are funny, but when it's like you're just firing out as brutal a thing as you could possibly say at any time.
Because the only joke is the only joke there is the brutal nature of like let's talk about period bloods and let's refer to
but
it.
they've been through a lot,
as
man.
sex.
They've been through a lot.
Yeah, cold winters.
Russians have like that. They've been hardened by some tough historic things.
It's true. So you got to have a hard sense of humour when it comes out of that.
Well, we've actually been through some of our own hardships that I didn't think.
Me and you or England?
No, this house because
the house.
Yeah, because remember last week we were meant to talk this actually on the last podcast, but we had a drug dealer's car smash into the front of our neighbour's house.
Really tough hardship for us.
It was a tough hardship. Admittedly, when I said it out loud, it does sound worse for the neighbours.
It was actually quite a traumatizing.
It was quite.
Well,
It was in this room, which is the front of the house. At 5 a.m, big bang. Woke up, went to look outside, just saw a car smashed into the front of my neighbour's house. We can get some pictures. And the front was steaming. The driver was unconscious on the wheel like a movie, and the windscreen, there was like a big hole in it. It was properly like a moving picture. And there was 4 guys. One of them was doing a NOS balloon, which is what...
Was he mid-balloon?
He was mid-balloon. I mean...
It's pretty badass.
I mean, I can't work out if it was like him I can't believe...
Just a quick side note is that the road that we have adjacent to us down there, and we're at the end of a very long road, and almost every single time you walk past, there will be a big collection of NOS canisters out, because it's clearly a hotspot where people come to do NOS.
Because it's not a through road, you're not getting cars going by.
Well, of course, but also you'd think if people could own cars, because you think it's like mostly it's groups of 4 guys who get in a car to go and do NOS.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very specific genre of people who like don't have a house that they can do NOS in freely, but they have a car that they then come and sit and then do NOS at. I just find it really strange. Like, do you want to go do NOS down our road today?
Yeah, it feels like it's like weirdly, it's kind of badass, but it's also like it feels like
it's pretty sad.
It's sad because it feels like they can't do it at their mum's house.
In front of their parents, yeah. That's definitely what it is.
Yeah.
So they must be 17-year-olds who have got cars but haven't moved out yet.
because there's a lot of dealers in this area, and he was blowing a balloon like this, so I assume. But I like the idea that he's crashed into the front of the house.
Did he finish it?
It seemed that way. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I just can't imagine he was properly doing. I think, but I respect the idea that you're still not going to finish a balloon. Because if you're in that moment,
why not, man?
Why not?
Why not?
Even though
in for a penny, out for a pound.
And then they carried him away and ran away. So I assume
So they actually, so this noise occurred and it woke the whole house up. Actually, I was actually, because it happened at about 5:45 a.m. I was awake. I was already working.
Just give a fuck.
But I heard a boom. And I just thought you did something weird upstairs. I just always think you're moving a fan or something up here. And I just literally gave it a look. And what annoys me, because I love drama like this. If I knew what it was, I would have been straight out there. But I just kind of gave it a little glance and was like, that's probably racial. I think it's something weird. And continued with that. But then if I'd have just walked to the window, but then I would have gone to the window, I would have opened up the blinds. And these fucked guys would have just seen me. And I would have just been there in my underwear. Look it up. And then quickly closing it. I saw nothing. I haven't seen anything. Which is a shame I missed out on that.
It is a shame.
But so you saw the driver being pulled away, taken away.
So there was 4 of them. The driver was unconscious, and then the 2 of them one of them just picked him up, threw him over his shoulder like a rag doll, as if they'd done it before. And then they split off in different directions. It was clearly a stolen car, because that's what you sort of do with stolen cars. You just leave them.
No, I don't think it was.
I think it was.
Do you really think?
Yeah.
But I don't.
It was also, this was Monday morning.
No, but explain that. So they left the car.
Well,
because I didn't realise they'd left the car.
BB's brother is a police officer who works in this sort of area, in like Hackney Town Hamlets, and he says that normally when they leave the car, it's almost definitely because they're stolen.
Okay. Yeah, because I was shocked when they left the car. I was shocked when they left the car. Because it'll be pointless leaving the car, because if it was their car, it would be registered to them, and the police literally just have to run the number plates and boom. Yeah,
and you want your car back as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I just saw the whole process of like 2 fire trucks, 3 ambulances, 4 police cars. It was crazy.
I'm just fascinated as to how out of the loop I was with this, because as
happened the whole time.
I was still working. I was the only person who had to be awake at that time, and was the only person. I just kind of wandered out, saw the wreckage, and was like, oh, I guess someone crashed into the house on my way to get some fucking milk or something. And then just missed all the drama.
All the drama. And it's also, we're the only, what's quite funny is that this is a street, we live in a street which has like a lot of, it seems to be quite a community here of people who've been here like 20 years, 25 years, like a long time. And they seem to own the houses. And this is like the one house that's clearly like a rented property that gets handed from students to young people in general.
You can see, because there's no fence in front of it.
Yeah. And you look at all the houses, they've got like, it's nicely manicured. There's like flower beds out the front, and then ours looks like Mrs. Havisham's house. It's like falling apart. There's no fence at all. And I was speaking to some of my neighbours. They've all put fences up because they keep getting drug dealers crash into the front of their houses, so they've put up fences.
But our lives don't matter, because our landlord won't do it.
Because people only live here 2 years at a time. No one's gonna. Oh well, I'll put. But yeah, if the drug dealer had driven into our house, he could have come straight through the living room.
No, he would have.
Yeah, he would have just gone.
Well, he would, which would have been fucking nuts.
Yeah, because instead of a fence, what we actually have is a ramp. It's true. That's what we've got. Is like literally just a ramp that would fire it straight.
They could just hit the window, straight through the glass, maybe even into my room. If they hit the glass, they would have gone through to my room.
Yeah, but they'd definitely give it a big.
Probably
knock.
still would have kept working though. Dedication to the job.
Horatio's probably moving a fan.
There's 4 men are clambering around my room trying to run away. I'm like, God, what's he doing now? This kid.
Who are his comedian mates? Who are these guys?
God, they're up again. Like, keep it down up there, boys. I'm trying to work. But because when we first talking about the community of the neighborhood, which is definitely a thing. And we missed our chocolate window. Because everyone went to kind of give the neighbour chocolates and flowers, which is obviously very nice. And then we were like, we'll do the same. Yeah. And then never happened.
We haven't quite made it into the club yet. And
we have great ideas.
That was our ticket in there.
Yeah. And now it's an even worse, it's even tougher job to get in there now, as their next door neighbours. We didn't give them anything.
But also, I don't know, it feels... that's a nice thing to do, but if something like someone crashes into the front of your house, it is kind of... what is the... I don't really know what the decorum is.
Should we buy them some cement?
That would be nice. Yeah. That'll be
that
more
will
practical.
help. Yeah, there you go.
But is it? Maybe I'm wrong, but. Is it a little bit weird? There's something weird to me that if a car crashed into the front of my house, the whole street came and gave me chocolates. Yeah. It's just a little bit. It's nice,
I get
but it
it,
is
yeah.
quite. I get it, but
I think-
it feels a bit weird. It's like, did someone crash it? Here's some chocolates. It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
feels like an odd thing for us all to
If
do.
someone crashed into your house, wait here.
And you get like a Cadbury's milk
Yeah,
tray.
a milk tray. There's always going to be milk trays.
And it's like just piling up these
It
things.
is weird. It is weird, but it's one of those things. I think as we're getting older, if you put yourself in the position of that person in the house, you know they might have had a bit of a tough one that day, and then boy, they've got some chocolates to chow down on the evening post dinner.
I just don't think you want to add add more weight.
More drama.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of weight to it. It was
No,
a
I mean
big-
weight to them eating that much chocolate. It's
Oh,
genuinely
that'd be
what,
odd, yeah.
genuinely what I meant.
Yeah.
I just don't,
Yeah.
Because if you're getting like
You don't
8
think-
milk trays,
So you
that's
think-
a lot to
yeah.
burn through.
You don't think the best way to respond to the situation is to develop a bad diet?
I just think that's like, if anything, you should be hitting the gym straight away.
Yeah,
to
let's bring some vegetables.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Should we just
It's
throw
like,
salad
I'm not
over the
going to
wall?
end up like them.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
do a good example.
Don't wallow
like
in your
it.
sorrows. Get out there.
Yeah.
Get your fucking running shoes on.
Yeah.
Eat some greens.
Exactly. So I'm going to bring kale and running shoes.
And a motivational video.
Yeah, on DVD.
On DVD.
From the 90s,
Yeah.
Davina McCall.
Yeah, Davina McCall, yeah. Yeah, perfect. So not a motivational video, just like yoga or Pilates or
Yeah,
or
just to
whatever.
try and get, I've seen a lot of people come and bringing you Cadbury's milk trays, and I just feel you're
Don't want
already
you to get
getting a bit
fat.
on the porky side at the minute.
Yeah.
I think this is what you actually
This
need.
is what is more important for you
Hey,
now.
I don't mind being unpopular on the street, all right? I'm not here to be the good guy.
Because I actually care about
I actually
you.
care about you. These guys, do you think they're going to be there when
when you've
the
got diabetes.
When you've got diabetes? No. Who's going to be here? Oh,
It's
grumpy
me.
old Horatio. Oh, everyone hates
always
Horatio.
trying to make me eat
yeah,
my
yeah.
greens.
No, I care about you.
We
okay?
care about you deeply as
Care about
people.
you deeply, yeah.
Okay, so get your
And also,
cement.
stop putting cement in our recycling bin. While I'm here, that's our recycling bin. You didn't even come and say, okay? Just while I'm here.
Yeah. Just a side note. I need a wee.
That's all right.
You don't have to say that's all right.
That's
every time.
fine.
I know it's fine.
That's
I'm just
good.
more announcing that I need to go for a wee.
That's cool, man.
We're back from our wees.
But
Go on.
but while we're on,
It ruins your segue so bad.
it really does. Yeah, but while we are on domestic issues, I felt it seems like quite a cathartic place for both of us to air our grievances. No, because it kind of is.
Sorry. Yeah.
Because
Any-
it's like
any
it's
segue.
sort of a safe space to discuss problems you're having with each other around the house. Because it's you can't block each other.
Yeah, sure.
You literally can't block each other because before being a person, we are professionals. And the one thing we will not do
Yeah.
as people who are very experienced in the art of radio and podcasting is block each
It's
other.
true,
So
yeah.
no matter what grievance I raise,
It will have time.
It will.
It will get
You'll
airtime.
give time.
Yeah.
You'll respond, and it will go somewhere
Yeah.
interesting.
I can't leave.
You'll bring in anecdotes.
Yeah.
You'll do some
It's
similes.
true.
But something that is something that you doing that's starting to annoy me is while you're working,
Yeah.
you leave your door open.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, which is fine, which is good. You watch something on there,
Hmm.
and it's fine. I don't care, And every time I walk past, you look at me as if I'm judging you. You look at me as if to say, yeah. You look at me in a really defensive way, and I don't care. And it means that it's hard. I'm going up and downstairs every time. But you'll be watching some stand-up or comedy or a podcast, and then every time I walk past, you make direct eye contact with me, and then you act like I've just caught you watching porn, but you're being really defensive about it, or as if it's like, don't fucking judge me. So I want you to stop because it's making it.
No, because it's my little joke that I do with you in the morning.
Yeah, it is, but you do it all the time, and I'm going up and down the stairs, and honestly, it's because you need it so
I want to make it a hostile. Basically, I'm the only one that
You're
lives
the
downstairs.
you're the only
I want
way
to
I
make
can
it a
get to the
hostile
kitchen.
environment for people to come downstairs.
Because you're
That's the
sitting
plan.
there, you're watching
'Cause you
fucking
can't-
Joe
my-
Rogan, you're like, you look at me like, yeah?
And what?
What?
What are you going to do about it? Yeah, I know. I love it. I love it because you're characteristically not fantastic in the morning. I've been up for neither am I, but I've been forced to
'Cause
be
now
up.
you're up.
I've been up for 5 hours.
You've been up for like a whole day before I come down.
Yeah. What's the time? I've been up since 5:30 a.m. this morning, and it's great to then greet everyone that comes downstairs and just like, yeah, Yeah? Is that what you're going to do, is it? Yeah? All right. Keep moving, bitch. Because then they have to walk past me as well to get back to the safety of their room. So it's a little thing I do to amuse myself.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Well,
I only do it to you, though.
But yeah, that's my. We can make this as a weekly segment, grievance of the week. But let's now finally.
So you get a grievance and I don't.
Well, it's one grievance a week, isn't it?
Fair enough.
So we can discuss.
Yeah,
people don't want to hear about two grievances.
It's too much.
You know, no one wants to hear both sides of the
Too
story.
many cooks spoil the broth.
Do you want me to talk about my drinking game I created?
Yeah.
Very quickly, you
Very
can stay in
quickly,
or
'cause
not.
it will- yeah.
Just me and my friend Adam created a drinking game. If you're a college student and looking to get turned up this semester,
Maybe get laid.
maybe get laid, maybe get a couple of girls around and get them a bit too loose.
No,
Please don't rape anyone.
That's going
Please
horribly.
don't rape anyone. Maybe you're
This segment is open door.
Shut up! Maybe you're on spring break and you fancy a bit of canoe fun with all your party people around you. Well, look no further than Too Many Cooks. Too Many Cooks is a drinking game designed for as many people as you want. It can be played as a team. It can be played in single players. What happens in Too Many Cooks is you put a big bowl in the middle. Maybe not a bowl. Could be a tankard. Could be any large container bowl. Could be this big. Could be that big. What you do is everyone who comes to the game already having drank. No, with the drink, so they're already drinking. Then everyone takes a turn to pour a little amount of that drink into the bowl.
As much as they seem fit.
As much as they see fit. It's completely down to you how much you put into it. And that is what you could call the bowl in the middle. Is you could also call it the broth that you're creating as a team and the people that you're playing with. Now, here's the catch. First person to so when everyone's pouring it in, if you're the person, the first person who puts the liquid in that then spills the broth or the combined liquid of all of your drinks over the edge of the drink, they have to drink all of the drink. They have to drink all the broth. And then when the person does it, and everyone goes, spoiled the broth, then they all drink it. The team version is that you play it in 2 different teams or 3 different teams, and then if one person from your team is the one to spill the broth, then the
thing you
that's what you have to do.
Okay.
Spilled
Yeah.
the broth, then all of your team gonna have to drink it together, which might spare.
I imagine
share
it's
the
like
burden
Who
a
Wants
bit.
to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah,
Like
spill.
Yeah,
and then- But you see, there's loads of different tactics you can go for. It's not a game I would ever want to play because I'm a 23-year-old man with a job now.
So he's got a job now, so he doesn't want to play that.
I don't want to have any fun
because he's got a job, so he has responsibilities.
And I've got families to look after.
He's waking up at 6 a.m.
5:30 if you
5:30.
count those hours.
Yeah, because he takes half an hour to get
And
up before he starts work. But he often starts
I have a
work
shower
late because he's
sometimes.
slapdash with his work. But this is in that genre of games that you play for. You know, a sane person, a normal person would play for like a 2-year period, maybe a year and a half, which is when you've just started drinking, or when it's basically built for when you're trying to get to know people at university in the first year. That's the only time that, because I can't stand those games, but I understand.
Don't tell me when to fucking drink.
But you can understand when you don't know anyone in a flat, it's a good way to break the ice.
Kind of, yeah.
But so like Ring of Fire with that game, which is not a good game, but it is fine when you have nothing in common with anybody you're living with. Then it works. But I think this game, let's set the scene for this game as you've just arrived at uni.
Yeah.
You've gone into a flat because we've got people who are messaging us about concerns for uni. Maybe you can bring this game.
Please bring it in. Just
Too many cooks. This could be the game.
I never want to play it. I just want to see people play.
I want to see it, so you can share videos with us.
Yeah.
You bring this game into uni first week freshers. Suggest this game.
Spoiled.
You don't.
Broth.
You don't know anyone there. I just feel it might not be the best for getting to know each other if one person has to drink like 3 pints worth of wine, gin, Strongbow Dark's fruits, ketchup. I bet one of the jokes is going to put it.
Yeah. But there's a rule that you have to have had at least half of the drink that you're going to put into the drink in order to qualify it as a drink. Because we thought about this. Because we thought about dickheads coming in with ketchup. You're not gonna get away with that in our house.
Yeah, well, you can put ketchup in if you drink
half of it. Absolutely, then fair fucking play, man. Chuck it in.
Chuck it in, lad.
Spoil the broth.
Great. Segment over. Bang. Done. Let's talk about what we're meant to be talking about, which is the big meaty topic. We've danced around it. This is all still the introduction. The episode hasn't even really started because we're about to talk about my favourite new programme, Alien Worlds.
Alien Worlds.
It's the new release on Netflix. And when there's a big statement programme on Netflix that gets featured, it's often shite, like The Social Dilemma was the last one we talked about. Oh, do you want?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I was trying to be discreet. I was.
You're like a little baby, just
I know.
tugging on your
I
mother's
know.
dress.
You'll have to watch it back because I looked even more ridiculous than that. Sorry.
There's nothing that makes you more vulnerable when you're trying to get something you're addicted to.
Can I have? It's the politest I'll ever be.
But I saw this and I was looking for a new program, and normally the Netflix original stuff I don't have any time for, and the Netflix style I think doesn't work for a lot of these things. But I've been blown out of the water with my new favourite program, the best thing in the world to watch, Alien Worlds. And you haven't seen Alien Worlds,
I haven't seen it yet.
and it's a 4-part series, and I was like, it's so short, and then I realised it's actually British made, and that's how you know it's British, because if it's 4 episodes, no American would do a good idea for 4 episodes. A British person would be like, yeah.
Okay,
We've got our point across.
Have we finished it now?
We've done like a 4-part series. It was absolutely mental.
But Americans will be finding where's the cliffhanger
Well,
after
like,
the 20th
this is
episode
12
of the series?
seasons.
How are we going to bring it into the next series? What about 2024?
But Alien Worlds, and this is when every streaming platform or production company of any sort has its own merits, and like the BBC has a unique way of making stuff that something can be very good and it has a unique style. I think this is something that really is uniquely Netflix and would only be made in a world where Netflix has been made. Like this can't be made on like broadcast television where it's basically just this. It seems like it's almost like an idea that was cooked up on a Joe Rogan episode with Duncan Trussell when they were high. Yeah. And the concept is that it's presented a lot like Planet Earth. It's sort of done in that sort of nature documentary style. And the idea is they've got top scientists to imagine if there was life on other planets, what would that life look like? So the whole thing is complete and utter speculation. It's not based off any evidence. They've taken one bit of like evidence of something that might exist on Earth and then used that to make the biggest jumps you've ever seen in your life. And it is just pure bliss, because that's the kind of stuff I'm enjoying to watch now. I'm sort of struggling with TV with too much conflict or too many things going wrong for like characters that I'm invested in. I'm now just here to see made up aliens, computer generated on a made up planet as if it's science. That is what I'm actually, that's kind of where I'm at,
Because you made this point to me a while ago about, a few months ago about, I think we were talking about Better Call Saul or something, which I know you believe stands apart from a lot of TV, of course, but that you're just fed up of seeing characters that you like go through tough situations. And I didn't really buy it at first. I was like, no, whatever, I was still enjoying it. But it's crept into me quite a lot recently. Maybe just because you've planted that seed of doubt in my head, but now I'm just, for fuck sake, because like with Curb Your Enthusiasm, for instance, he was there, Larry was there, he was with an attractive lady, and it's like, for one time, can you just not, could you say the right thing and have sex with this beautiful woman and maybe have a nice relationship? Sure. But no, of course he brings up many things that are sorry, and I do feel for them too much. But then I guess with programs like this, it's starting to change the narrative, because for me, I like the sound of this a lot, because I think what frustrates me about our society more than anything is our weak perception and identification of aliens, of what they could look like in the mainstream culture.
Okay, I'd say racism.
No, I wouldn't. I would not say any of the above.
Each to their own.
It's one, kids are too exposed to giraffes, and two, there's not a good enough representation of how
which
weird
come from the same
aliens
school
could be.
of thought.
They do.
Yeah.
The lack of imagination or a hampering of imagination in our children. Because every alien that you see, always like the first thing that's popping to mind is The Simpsons when they think Mr. Burns is an alien, but I've just realised that doesn't work because it is Mr. Burns. Let's move swiftly on from that. Most aliens are portrayed in the same kind of way, as it's such an obvious continuation and extrapolation of the very unique settings that there are on Earth to let's make them green.
Let's make him green. It's just like a dude with big eyes and green.
Yeah,
and like that's
they always don't have a nose.
Yeah.
That's the most of the imagination.
Yeah.
And in reality, given that we all believe to more and lesser extents in natural selection and evolution, and that will probably happen on other planets, might not even.
Other theories of evolution are available.
Nice, but it might not even happen on other planets. You know what I mean? Worlds can be so unimaginable and so unobtainable that the only thing we can do is properly understand that we might not even be able to. So sorry, let me condense this. We on our planet we have 5 senses that we can access the world through. What's to say there are, so even within our world, there's obviously going to be, there are many things around us that we can't contemplate because we don't have those senses.
Yeah.
On other worlds, there's probably life forms that we cannot even access in the slightest. It's beyond human imagination or understanding.
In the way that a cat can't even see colour.
Yeah, exactly.
Black and white. And
exactly.
like a cat couldn't understand maths.
Yeah, we can't hear certain hearing.
We're going to
ranges.
have certain things that go past the way that we understand
So
things.
what I like about the sound of this series is what they're doing is they're saying here's a basic thing about human science that we believe to be true.
Yeah.
If we extrapolate that, but then put in like just other random different things, it's kind of like an attempt to be as wacky and out there as possible, which I think is the only way to approach the subject of extraterrestrial life.
It's got a sincerity to it that I like, because it is a bit ridiculous. They talk about it as if they discovered these aliens and it's all made up, but it's almost like it's a great creative exercise in like provoking your own thoughts on. It's just anything that brings you to really think about these questions that I don't think get discussed enough, of like, what would life actually look like? All these crazy thoughts that we all have when you occasionally have that moment where you're like, you know, when you know those moments where you like, for a second,
fuck.
you know, you're like, oh shit, I need to get milk. And like, you have those things. And then
on the way to
occasionally
getting milk,
you'll be like, oh my God. When you realise, because they're talking about
death exists and the concept of infinite.
They've found that of the planets they know of that could potentially harbour life, right now, what they know of, there's 100 billion trillion.
And bearing in mind that is planets that who can feasibly, theoretically harbour life that humans can contemplate and understand.
Yeah, that's so 100 billion trillion.
Just in that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like there has to be aliens, but also if there aren't aliens, that's madder. That's Imagine how mental that would be.
Yeah.
If we're the only living things. Yeah. It'd be fucking crazy.
It would be crazy. And
100 billion trillion planets.
It's one of those numbers that if you don't do maths at uni, you don't really understand. It's just, it gets past a billion, you're like,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Get
It's a lot. It's
get
loads.
It. Chill, bro.
It's loads. It's loads.
But because something that frustrates me in the extraterrestrial discourse is, well, if they were fucking aliens, why haven't they made contact yet? Because that presumes that they've had like radio technology. That presumes they understand sound and communication in the same ways as us. And we have developed our technologies in an incredibly specific way based on our evolution, our planet, and our intelligence. The mass divergence there must be in these things. They might be sending out waves that we can't even fucking contemplate.
Yeah, and it's also the way they talk about it is, it's like, you know, I've been alive like 20 years and I haven't seen any aliens. It's like, for how long, you know, reliable history might be recorded, that you could argue maybe 5,000, 6,000 years at a push. That's such a small window for any, you know. But when the dinosaurs were here, there could easily been alien landings or anything like that.
Oh, fuck, too early.
Yeah,
and then by the time that
we're like a split second if you look at even the Earth's history. What are the chances that in this tiny window that, like, think about UFOlogy has been around maybe 60 years. If you think of 60 years with a planet that's 5 billion years old, if there's any sort of contact with extraterrestrials, to happen in that window would be crazy. But it's a great show because it focuses on people on Earth, and it looks at animals on Earth like peregrine falcons, and like tries to use the science of them to try and, you know, embellish. And it's not a science thing, but it's a great creative exercise of expanding the way that you think about it.
Which is my brief point of that's the only way to do it. Yeah. You have to be creative rather than scientific.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's a great. If I felt very stimulated creatively just looking at it, and like, for example,
don't get too graphic about it.
Yeah, great ideas coming from me at the moment. And one planet twice the size of Earth.
Great.
So these are actual planets they found. There'll be twice as much gravity. So there'll be like creatures like sky gliders.
So everyone just can't really walk very quickly.
There's not, you know, they still assume there's like bird creatures, and instead of like flapping their wings, they're just these heavy flying creatures that glide because it's like a pillow of air. These are things that, you know, it sort of can make sense. They had one planet which doesn't rotate, so it has one half right by the sun, permanently in barren desert.
So everyone lives on the equator, so they can walk.
Stop with everyone. There's not people in these planets.
But I'm trying to have some fun.
And then the other half is in perpetual darkness because it doesn't because we're used to day and night. Whole side of the planet fully in darkness. Whole side, and then there's going to be one slither right down the middle that will be in perpetual twilight, and that's where the life is and stuff like that.
Shit,
Some mad stuff like that. And then they even discussed a planet which was like, what about a planet that was even more prime for life than this planet? Because this planet is a miracle of being the exact right circumstances for life, but conceptually, as we know it, I mean, it's so of all the planets, it with the amount of water, the atmosphere, it does seem like it is built for a proliferation of life, which seems fairly rare. I do think it's going to be fairly rare percentage-wise. But what about a planet that's even more prime for life, has even more water, has even more oxygen or whatever? And so they imagine
which is true. And I mean, because so prime for life. That's why I said as we know it. Because if you think like life is a very relative and it's a human-centric construct that we understand through our idea of what knowledge and science is. So if you the existence of extremophiles that exist where you have organisms that are bountiful in the most extreme anti-life situations on our planet that exist.
They talk about extremophiles on.
Too bloody right.
There's an episode on
is there?
Extremophiles.
So though the fact that we have those even within our planet, where we would consider the most ill-equipped conditions for life, would suggest to me that life is more than we know it on this planet, and it's something that's unobtainable to understand for the rest of the universe. But
I do think because I think there might be there might be other dimensions or other universes, because we at the moment we can conceptualize a universe, but there's even multiverse theory where the laws of physics don't apply. But I still believe, this is all speculation, I still believe that any life that would be out there in our galaxy will follow the same laws of physics, so it'll be similar. I think things like gravity, I think water, I think things like that. I do think those will be constants. Do you certainly think? For life, I do sort of believe.
But would you not? So, I would agree to a certain extent, as in I would agree it was a good governing principle of which we can study or understand, or even just contemplate the idea of life outside of our own planet.
Yeah.
But surely it has to be. So with something like the senses argument of us being able to understand and interpret our own life through these kind of limited ways of doing it, surely we then have to accept that life outside of that realm is unobtainable, but we can't say it doesn't exist. And I think it would be quite an ignorant thing to suggest that it definitely doesn't exist, because we're only basing things off those limited capacities that we have as human beings.
It is true, yeah.
I also think it's pointless going too far into that argument, because I think it's a great thing that we should imagine and think about things that we do understand, because you can go into the reductive argument of, well, we're never going to be able to understand everything that doesn't exist within these five senses, so fuck it, let's not bother.
I mean,
which is wrong. Yeah. We should do.
I was almost surprised at Alien Worlds. Shows. I do think the Netflix shows, but they felt much more realistic than like tacky sci-fi aliens, of course, but it's still, to me, felt like if there are actually aliens, I still feel we're still using relatable iconography. And I just think what's going to be wild is when we actually see aliens, is going to be like, really?
Yeah. Okay.
I was not
expecting that. I'll give you that one.
If we're an alien, I was not. Exactly.
Because I think a good film that deals with it is The Arrival. I think that's a really good way to do it, especially with the difference of language and, well, the conceptions of time in it. It gets a bit almost too gas sci-fi at the end when it's just like, we're here to save you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the concept of like, not even, I think they did that really well. It was like tetrapods or something where we didn't even see the whole of it. It was something that was almost completely unconceivable to us, but they had come to communicate something to us and something they might seem conceivable.
Yeah.
I think that's a great film in terms of how to conceptualize.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the best sci-fi films.
But I agree. Recently. It would be probably the biggest shock of that program would be if their representations of alien worlds were exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
Like, that's what the alien world said.
Yeah.
Shit, they were bang on.
I just know that if we meet aliens, they're gonna be like nothing we could ever conceive of.
But I think the point of that show would be this interpretation of it is as valid as anything else, because we just can't know.
We just can't know. And it was interesting you said about because they also did an episode on hyper intelligent beings. So they're like, right, let's take it to the point of like a society so much more developed than ours, and it's the key thing that they did was like talked about harnessing energy, which is an interesting idea. It's like when with solar panels, like think about how much sun hits the earth.
Yeah.
That's all energy being wasted. A lot in it.
Yeah, fuck, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a shitload.
Yeah.
And like, so a solar panel, you'd take like that amount of sun on that panel. Imagine harnessing all of the energy that hits the sun every single day.
Yeah.
Think about what you can do with that sort of sustainable energy.
But then would it also mean that no sun gets on the earth, which you need to in order to sustain it?
I maybe, but it's more conceptually.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But if you could harness basically a sustainable source of energy that's sort of semi-unlimited,
vastly bigger than us.
And so these beings were created who live in these sort of like all the work's done by automation, and then the beings live in these sort of, they're like brains in a box that are eternal, and because they can sustain themselves forever, because you can conceive of a technology where you can keep life forever in some form if everything's automated. And the story was about their planet being destroyed by climate, as all planets eventually will. And about them colonizing a new planet.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so like trying to terraform that planet to suit them.
Yeah.
Really wild. So I'm a big fan of Alien Worlds. We're going to carry on talking about aliens because I think we still have a lot more to talk about.
Yes.
But we've run out of time for the episode. So if you want to...
If only there was a place that we could continue to listen to this conversation.
Well, you're in luck, Andrew. You're in luck. You are in luck because we actually are going to be carrying this on in Patreon. So starting from £3 a month, you can listen to a lot of bonus content. And now there's more patrons. We've got a couple more. People are actually watching, and now
outside of our extended family.
Yeah. So now it feels like we might actually put a tiny bit. We might actually. It feels like there's an audience. I feel we've finally broken out of that very start where we are screaming into the void. So come join the party. We're going to be carrying on talking about aliens in the Patreon episode. Amongst other things.
Who knows what will happen?
All right. So do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, give me the recap.
We've talked about scams on Facebook, on the internet. We've talked about drug dealers car crashing into our house. We've talked about spilling the broth as a drinking game. We've talked about alien worlds. Yeah.
Being from a big family can leave you vulnerable in a number of ways. One of those ways being having alcohol addiction run through the family, and one place of which that can develop from or be expressed in would be in a classic drinking game trademark, Too Many Cooks. Now, when inebriated, one should always pay attention to scams because they can come in any form, whether that be phishing with a PH or a number of different ways that people try to steal your identity. But at the end of the day, as I always say, we're all just humans on this planet, and remember that we could be touched down by aliens, things we can't even comprehend or understand. And that should put things into perspective.
Thanks for listening. See you next week.